All right, YouTube, this is Tucson back with my 2 cents on Octopath Traveler. And are you one of those out there who are saving their gems for future banners, maybe a limited unit that's going to come out with our, near collaboration, or possibly just waiting for the banners that have the step ups that guarantee 5 stars? Either way, if you're one of those people who are saving those, you might have a lot smaller pool of units to be able to use in Octopath Traveler. And this video is just going to talk about team building with those units. So hit that sub button and let's get into it. All right, so you can see here, I have passed the first part of the story. I am on the chapter 2 part. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to give any sort of spoilers, but I have been doing just fine with my 14 units. That's right, I only have 14 and only one of them is a 5-star. Most of the units I have are 3 or 3.5 here. And basically, I just want to go over what I'm looking for with these units and what I'm specifically doing with them to be able to be successful in this game, which is definitely free-to-play friendly, but you got to know a little bit of what you're doing and kind of build ahead for things. So we have things that are called hunts that are definitely going to be things that you're going to be farming later on. So one of the things I really wanted to make sure I did is kind of farm up looking for the hunts in mind of what I was wanting to accomplish, at least at the outset. So if you go into your quest and you go into hunts, currently right now what I have unlocked is this level 25 one, and you see suggested jobs of blade, axe, book, and fan there. So what I did is when I was looking over at my party, I wanted to make sure I could cover that. And so if you see here, I have 2 axe users, 2 sword users, a book, and a fan. So that hunt is going to go really well for me, and being able to use that will give me daily decent amount of experience and then allow me to get some the other level up mats and the shards for my specific units so that I can keep progressing them to go further on in the game. As far as my my spear user and my staff user there, I can switch them out if I want to take somebody else into level. I don't need them to be there because they're not even creating a weakness anyway. So that's something to look about when you're team building, is think about where your next sort of farming stage is going to be and what you're going to be farming, and kind of tailor who you're going to build around that. Granted, we only have 15 units, right? So part of also what I'm looking at here is make sure I have that coverage across many elements and many sort of weapon types, which is a little difficult when you look at the element sort of things. There's just not a whole lot that I have currently here that can cover that. But I have my little blade here lady who also can do electric, but she's got also a 3-hit. So that's also one of the things that I'm looking at when I'm going to look into their skills. I'm looking for things that can provide, multiple hits. Being able to hit all targets like the AoEs are really nice to have as well. However, most of the time, especially when you're doing sort of story progression or just a lot of high-end progression things for your account, you're going to be looking for that single target ability to be able to break enemies from their weakness, and that's where you're going to want these multi-hit abilities. And so I definitely recommend looking for those in your units that you have and making sure you're prioritizing grabbing those skills out of there and getting the coverages that you need. So with that, I have Miles as well, who can do a 2-hit. My axe users, Rita and Rhydon, they don't have multi-hit abilities, but that's kind of why I'm using Toodle in my parties. Rita's definitely some more of that support with the healer, so I definitely wanted to have somebody who could kind of heal, as well as Jose, so I can kind of switch them out depending on who has weakness in that scenario, and that's who I have out during those times. So obviously Sophia, she's really great, and I think some people have really slept on her for other units like Lynette and Viola, and those are great top tier units as well. But her ability to have this multi-hit ice wind attack and being able to do this physical book damage, I find a lot of units are weak to one of two of those things. So it's really going to have that, and she hits really hard with her abilities, even if the unit's not particularly weak to ice, and that's really what she's useful for. And later on, when you're farming, she's got AoE abilities that just bam and can knock their farming out a lot easier. So with that being said, that's what you're looking for your units. You're looking for, one, just coverage across the board for multi-use abilities to be able to break units, and then you're looking secondary for your sort of making sure that you have somebody who can kind of heal and somebody who has different elements attached to them. And that's basically kind of how I've been looking at levelings up. Now, once some of my units start getting capped here, you see them at 37, and some of these guys are capped at 40. That's when I'm going to bring in these last 4 units that don't have any levels. Just switch them in and get them leveled up, because I do think it's important that every single one of your units gets leveled up, even if it's just for getting your influence out of them. Like, every one of them has these little influence things that just kind of will help you along with leveling that up, and those are real key areas to focus on. And I know 10 here, 10 here, 10 there isn't going to seem like it's a lot, but getting to those next levels and being able to use your sort of wealth actions or power actions, whatnot, with town folks is what gives you access to a lot of the really high-end good weapon and armor as you're leveling here, which will make the storyline much easier. And that's going to be kind of the key when you're playing with these limited pools of units, because you're saving your gems for people later on down the line. Is you got to make the most of what you have. So figure out those multi-hit abilities out of your units, grab those up, then grab the utility as far as like your heals that you're going to need, then grab your elements just so you can have some of those to offset, and then after that, just make sure you're going through and leveling everybody to at least get them to the point where they have their influences unlocked. That's basically my 2 cents. Now, if you want to check out one of these other videos of kind of my thoughts on if this game is free to play friendly, and another video here on tips for farming for your nameless town.